Hello, everyone. Here we are on week 4, topic 3. Our topic right now is puppets. We've already had some people do some puppetry. I've tried to put up some puppetry examples. I put up an example of my own puppetry, which is okay. It's okay. I had to do it for a class, so I thought I'd give you a more personal example. I also, given some of our discussions of puppetry, I also made sure that I put up an example of someone that I thought was fabulous. I had forgotten about it, and it's Allison Taylor McBride. She does an amazing job animating the puppet that she uses, whatever puppet it is. She has a bunch of them. Anyway, I put that video up. It is an hour long. I suspect that you don't want to watch an hour-long video on puppetry, so I put up some suggested little snippets. Anyway, try that out. That's a great idea or a great example of what I thought was good puppetry. If you find other examples of good puppetry, please let me know. I've struggled to find good examples of puppetry. I think some people don't do it very well. Anyway, we're going to talk about puppets. Puppets are just another way to connect with your audience. It is the use of a manipulative. And we are looking at puppets as an aid to storytelling, not puppets as the complete vehicle for storytelling. So if you ever went to the Columbia Marionette Theater, they tell the entire story with the marionettes, and you do not see people. And it's as if the marionettes are the actors. So that is a very different experience than we're going to be doing. I would be very surprised if any of us took up marionetting. It's difficult. I have tried it. I had a marionette theater that we did in our elementary school in Illinois. And we practiced and practiced and practiced. So that's tough stuff. Puppets for us are going to be a way to tell a story, just one other manipulative. There are many manipulatives that you can use. All right, I'd like you to take a minute and think about your favorite puppets. As I prepared for this particular lesson, both some of your blog responses or comments and discussions and some of the thinking about this jogged my memory about other puppets. So I used to love Madam. I thought she was hilarious. And she was on Hollywood Squares in the 70s. I'm dating myself, clearly. So there she is again. She's fabulous. And then one of you mentioned Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop. So those are some favorite puppets. Of course, some of our most famous, and for many people, me in particular, favorite puppets ever are the Muppets. I loved watching the Muppets when I was growing up, particularly the old dudes in the balcony. I hope you have been able to see that show even in reruns or on YouTube or something, because that show was hilarious. Also on this page, we have Sir Didymus from the movie Labyrinth, who was also a Jim Henson creation. And then you've got, I can't remember what this thing is called. It's been a long time since I saw that movie. It's from the Dark Crystal. Skrillex or something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, it's been a long time since I've seen the Dark Crystal. I should have looked that up before I started recording this. Sorry about that. But anyway, these are all Jim Henson creations who really did amazing things for puppetry in the 70s, 80s, even into the 90s. When is the last time a Muppet movie was released? It's actually not that long ago. Anyway, so hopefully you've seen the Muppets. Hopefully you've seen the TV show, even in a rerun. They were fabulous. These are super fun puppets. Obviously, these puppets are telling the story themselves, so it's not quite how we would be using them. Another person who is currently using puppets is a comedian named Jeff Dunham. I would suggest being careful using puppets like he uses them. He's a little salty, if you are familiar with his work. He is a comedian. He does ventriloquism and some puppetry. Again, a little salty, but puppets are still being used. If you are purchasing puppets, a lot of human type puppets are going to look like these. If you've ever seen Avenue Q on Broadway, it is a puppet show with live action and puppets. It's kind of cool, but they use this type of puppet. These are made generally out of sort of a cardboard framing with felt faces, and obviously you can make them look any way you want if you were to design puppets or build them. But these are often also used in church programming or in schools. They're a neat kind of puppet. They look very realistic. So they're something that you could consider as having your puppet partner when you're telling stories. These are Punch and Judy puppets. I'm giving you a little bit of background or history here. This is still not my strong point, but this is from the Puppetry Museum in Atlanta. And obviously there's a long history of puppeteering. Like I showed you earlier, I have fond memories of puppets from the 70s when I was a kid. I didn't think they were as creepy then as I do now. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of different ways to use puppets and a whole bunch of different styles of puppets. I would say that marionettes are very complicated as far as puppets, and it's probably something that you're not going to do as a storyteller unless you get very involved in puppeteering. Marionettes are a little bit more difficult to handle, and the focus becomes on the artistry and dressing and the creation of the puppet, and the puppet as the actor as opposed to you as the storyteller. So it's a different type of puppeteering than our storytelling puppeteering will be. Paper cutout puppeteering or shadow puppeteering can be really, really effective in a public library or a school library setting. This is something where you can use different lighting, you can use different screens in the background. Kids are more than capable of creating shadow puppets like the one in this picture. You can obviously have very simple shadow puppets with younger children. You can have more elaborate, fancy shadow puppets with older children. The storyteller can be in front of the screen, and people can participate in storytelling by manipulating the puppets. If they are someone who's shy, it's a way to do it as a group. I think shadow puppets or cutout puppets are a really cool option for involving your audience or working as a group if you are in a public or school library. All right, y'all, so why would you use a puppet? One, I think they can hold an audience's attention and gain interest if you are good at it. Also, children will respond well to puppets, particularly when they're small, particularly when they are a shy child. I forget that students are sometimes intimidated by me, or an audience can be intimidated by the storyteller, but a puppet can be an icebreaker. Please look at Allison Taylor McBride and how she uses that mouse in the Give a Mouse a Cookie. She really does a great job. I imitated her in Give a Pig a Pancake. I'm nowhere near as talented as Taylor McBride is. She's fantastic. Puppets can provide a creative outlet. I think the puppeteering can be fun if you are shy. I know several of our classmates have mentioned that they are not comfortable in front of an audience or not comfortable storytelling. I find that if I do any acting or storytelling not so much, when I do acting, as long as I pretend that I am the character that I'm supposed to be, I am less nervous in front of a group. That puppet can take the place of you, take the pressure off you, take the eyes off you. You can have your audience looking at the puppet instead. A puppet can help an audience remember the story. And a puppet can encourage language development, particularly in smaller children who are reluctant to talk to the adult. But that small child might be willing to engage with the puppet instead. So how would you use a puppet? You're using the puppet like any other manipulative. Keep in mind, puppets aren't the only manipulatives. You could use scarves, you could use sticks, you could use something that the kids have to tap with. But that puppet should be related to your story. You want to incorporate the puppet. Give him, her, it a voice. It should have a different voice than yours. You can talk to it. You should allow the puppet to help you tell the story and make sure the puppet enhances your story and does not distract or detract from the story. Have that puppet be a big part of what's going on, and it should remain animated. Again, look at Allison Taylor McBride. She's amazing. If you are doing story time at the library, and maybe we should ask Jordan, but after you've done like 8 of them in a row, you're probably losing your mind and looking for ideas. So what are some other uses for puppets? Have your patrons or students make puppets. Yay! Craft time. Have them tell the story with you. I think the cutout puppets would be great for that. Then puppets become not just manipulatives, but interactive. You can have overlap there. That's kind of cool. And there are some amazing ways to craft puppets. All right, here's where the interwebs come in handy, y'all. You can make puppets out of paper bags, socks, popsicles, or tongue depressors. Paper, wooden spoons, toilet paper rolls or paper towel rolls, pasta or shoe boxes. You can just draw on your finger. Origami, masks, or pipe cleaners. There are so many ways to do cheap, crafty stuff. So look on the interwebs, look at Pinterest. They're everywhere. You can figure out how to make some puppets or do some puppet crafts. Look at the Fandango ads. Man, those puppets are cool too. There's a lot of ways to do them. Lots of ways to do them. Lots of ways to do them. All right, and here we go with some examples. We have top left, we've got a sock puppet. We have top right some finger puppets made out of felt. That's doable as a craft with probably kids who at least have some manual dexterity, because that would take definitely some trimming and some sewing. We have a popsicle stick puppet, which is very artistically done. And then in the last picture on the lower right, you have finger puppets that are just faces drawn on fingers. I actually used to do this in elementary school. I used to draw on my fingers and do little puppet shows. I'm letting you know what a freak I was. Anyway, there are lots of different ways to do this, and they don't have to be expensive. Keep in mind, if you have not done storytelling with the manipulative, puppets are not required. Probably not my favoritist thing. Think about putting the 3 or 4 things in the goodie bag that are related to your story that you take out. You could do something with a stick, or play your recorder, or I don't know what else you could do. Oh, the scarves thingy. Yes, you could use scarves. So just keep that in mind if you have not yet done your manipulative storytelling. You can do puppets. Look at some of the examples, particularly, did I say Allison Taylor McBride? Anyway, and so I was going to be self-indulgent and play some They Might Be Giants for you, but I can't figure out how to turn the sound on for my computer. Maybe I can do it here. And you do not have, you can turn this off right now if you don't want to hear the song. It's ridiculous. Can I turn the sound on? It won't let me turn the sound on. All right, so Google They Might Be Giants. Put your hand inside the puppet head. I've piqued your curiosity. This song has been in my head for days because we keep talking about puppets. So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this. You can tell I'm getting punchy, can't you? And we'll see you next week. All right, bye.